Yes, I'm clearing my throat on a live mic. Hey, everybody. It's your favorite morning news host, and I'm flying solo because Ronan started his new job today. So, it is Thursday, that wonderful day before that day that everybody has the weekend off. I've got my coffee. Zeus is playing Casket Dog on my bed. And, yep, it's time to start the news, y'all. So let's get this rolling, right? All right. So let me close these tabs out over here. Minimize that. And get rid of that till the end of the show. All right. We have our health care bill on point this morning that we're going to be talking about first. And don't forget to check that link out for the commands for the Nightbot so you guys can have a little bit of fun in the live chat, playing around with each other, playing tag, and the whole 9 yards. Hope you guys enjoy that. McConnell is rolling out the new GOP health bill. Senate Republican leaders are trotting out their new but reeling health care bill and angling toward a showdown vote next week amid signs they have lots of work ahead to win over GOP lawyers, lawmakers, or face a resounding failure. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of bloopers live. Hang in there. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, a Republican from Kentucky, planned to represent the revamped measure rolling back much of President Barack Obama's health care law To GOP senators Thursday, he's aiming at a do-or-die vote next week on whether to begin debating the bill, a roll call for which he's got no margin for error. Since Democrats uniformly oppose the effort, no surprise there, McConnell needs the votes of 50 of the 52 GOP senators to prevail, but conservative Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky says he's a no. Maine moderate Susan Collins seems all but certain to be opposed, and other Republicans are threatening to vote against it if their demands are not met, struggling to preserve one of their highest profile priorities. Now, everybody's kind of twisted about this whole health care bill. We're going to talk about that as soon as I finish getting through the news, so hang in there. President Donald Trump heaped additional pressure on party leaders Wednesday in an interview with Christian Broadcasting Network's The 700 Club. He said he would be very angry if the Senate fails to pass the health care measure and said McConnell must pull it off. Did he say that? Let's see, shall we?
Infrastructure, which we're going to do also.
Okay, I got to pause this every 20 seconds so I don't get smacked with a DMCA. So he's already introduced what he wants to talk to Trump about. So far, we haven't seen the two tag quotes. I hate stuff being out of context, and I found this little bitty 2-minute video that we're going to go over and run and play with you.
But number one, repeal and replace. I am sitting in the Oval Office with a pen in hand, waiting for our senators to give it to me. For years, they've been talking about repeal and replace, repeal and replace. I think they passed it 61 times, repeal and replace. But that didn't mean anything because you had...
Thank you for the $2, and yay, I'm alive. Yes, you did go to the doctor's yesterday. Yep, you most certainly did. Well, helps if I spell that right? All right, so he keeps saying repeal and replace, repeal and replace, repeal and replace. That's okay. Every little bit helps. And he's ready with pen in hand. So.
The minority, the Republicans, they didn't have the majority, so it wasn't to get to the president, but if it ever did, Obama wasn't going to sign it. So then we have a president that's waiting to sign it. I have a pen in hand. So now it means something. You know, those other times, those many times that they passed, what's the whole purpose?
Now we're getting to the crux of the matter. What's the holdup? We got a minute to get through, about a minute and 20 seconds to get through this. I think the problem is they weren't ready for a president as efficient as Trump. I don't know if you guys share in the sentiment with that one, but he hit the ground running as soon as he put his feet in the office. Everybody's still reeling from the fact that he has goals and he has deadlines he wants to meet, and he's getting a little bit frustrated because his expectations aren't being met, which to me shows his lack of experience of anything political, because he's trying to put politics in a business style box. Doesn't quite work, in my opinion.
You have very good people. These are very good people. It's very hard to get, all we need. Almost all of them. You need almost all of them. And that's the holdup.
Isn't that always the holdup? Yeah, exactly, rhetorical. You have got it right. You put the nail right on the head. He wants to get down to business and get shit done, and they're playing politics. I completely freaking agree about that. Most definitely.
And states are somewhat different. With all of that being said, it has to get passed. They have to do it. They have to get together and get it done. What happens if they don't? Well, I don't even want to talk about it because I think it would be very bad. I will be very angry about it. And a lot of people will be very upset. Waiting for them.
Okay, there we go. That's what I will be mad about it. But he's explaining why he will be mad about it. It isn't just, a short little quote that AP took him a little bit out of context about, because To me, you can't just say an interview with so-and-so and he said this. You got to have the whole context of why he was saying that. So here we go.
To come to my desk. I hope that they do it. They've been promising it for years. They've been promising it ever since Obamacare, which has failed. It's a failed experiment. It is totally out of business. And we have to get this done. Repeal and replace. Mr. Connell is a tactician of great skill.
Okay. Hey, how you doing? Excuse Nightbot, he's a little snarky from time to time. He keeps saying repeal and replace. Do we really need another overblown healthcare bill? I say it'd be cheaper to put a committee in place to point out oversights and point out abuse of the system. And that would be a whole lot easier, and just go back to the private companies, but make the private companies disclose their copay, how much certain procedures cost, and so on and so forth. I don't particularly think we need an overblown healthcare bill, but that's just my opinion.
It's his job. He's got to pull it off. Mitch has to pull it off. He's working very hard. He's got to pull it off.
All right, now that we've got all that in context, the reworked measures' key elements remain easing Obama's requirements that insurers cover specified services like hospital care and cutting the Medicaid health care program for the poor, disabled, and nursing home patients. Obama's penalties on people who don't buy coverage would be eliminated, and federal health care subsidies would be less generous. Yep, exactly. I agree. Rhetorical. Thank you, Fuckwad. Hi. Give mad women all the monies. The new package would keep most of the original bill's Medicaid reductions and eliminate tax increases Obama's statute imposes on health care industry, but it would retain Obama tax boosts on upper income people and use the revenue to help some lower earners afford coverage, provide $45 billion to help states combat drug abuse, and give extra money to some hospitals in states that didn't use Obama's law to expand Medicaid. So he's really not repealing the entire thing, but he wants to me, it's more of a tweak than a repeal and replace, it's sounding like. Yes, we do need a business madman, and I believe we have found it in Trump. Or, like I said, my opinion. Collins has long complained the measure will toss millions off coverage. That's because coverage will go from mandatory to elective. In other words, putting the power of the decision in our hands and not penalizing us for not being able to afford it. Spokeswoman Ann Clark said Collins would vote no next week if Medicaid cuts remain the same as those that have been discussed. Besides Paul and Collins, at least 3 other Republican senators publicly say they hadn't decided whether to back McConnell on the initial vote. Conservative Senators Ted Cruz of Texas and Utah's Mike Lee and Tim Scott out of South Carolina. So he's got a lot of holdouts and some people on the fence. Cruz and Lee are chief authors of a proposal that would let an insurer sell low-premium, bare-bones policies as long as the company also sold a plan covering all the services, like substance abuse treatment required by Obama's law. Yeah, I believe people on Medicare need dental. Their plan has alienated moderates worried it would mean unaffordable coverage for people with serious medical conditions because healthier people would flock to cheaper, simpler plans. Party leaders have not determined if the proposal will be in their measure, and there have been talks about altering it to limit premium boosts on full coverage policies. For those of you in the chat, hit 1 if you can. Whoa, excuse me. For those of you in the chat, hit 1 if you already can't afford Obama's affordable health care. Scott said he was still trying to determine if the legislation would help families and consumers with pre-existing medical problems. Senator Rob Portman, a Republican from Ohio who has fought to ease the bill's Medicaid reductions, has also yet to commit to back the measure next week. Hey, Ghost Dog. McConnell withdrew an initial package 2 weeks ago in the face of Republican discord that would have spelled certain defeat. Good morning, Bloodewing. All right. Now we're going to go over here. Pick our next. This should be. Wait a minute. Is he in there too? All right. This should be in world then. Aha. Lifestyle. Oh, wrong way. Excuse the dizziness, guys. I'm trying not to scroll it too fast. Now this should be in world news. All right. Where are you at? Here we go. Here's the picture. All right. Iranian researcher turned away because of militia ties. From Amir Vadat out of Tehran, Iran, AP. An Iranian cancer researcher who was denied entry to the U.S. previously headed a student branch of volunteer paramilitary militia footage aired on state television Thursday showed. State television showed Mohsen Denavi arriving back in Tehran alongside his wife and children. In comments to the channel at the airport, he defended his travel to the U.S. as solely intended for science and research. The topic of our research was health and saving ill people fighting cancer from this dangerous disease. It didn't allow us entry despite, as I mentioned, all the efforts made by the American academic community. Denavi was detained at Boston's Logan International Airport along with his wife and 3 young children upon arrival Monday and were sent back to Iran the following day despite holding a J-1 visa for visiting scholars. He was expecting to take up work at Boston's Children's Hospital. The U.S. Customs and Border Patrol has said the family's detention was for, quote, reasons unrelated, quote, to President Donald Trump's executive order on travelers from several predominantly Muslim countries. I got that in red for a reason. Because to me, they're kind of sort of passively aggressively hinting that it's a Muslim ban, and that's always tweaked my nerves. I'm sure it tweaks you guys' nerves too, including Iran. It did not say why specifically the family was turned back. The Supreme Court recently ruled the Trump administration could largely enforce its temporary ban on travelers from Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. But the court said the ban can't block people with a credible claim of a bona fide relationship with a person or entity in the United States. Welcome back, Panda. Now, the state TV footage showed that Denavi was the same man who featured in a years-old report by semi-officials Fars news agency on his being named the head of the student branch of the Basij at Iran's Sharif University in September 2007. Basij is a volunteer militia that is linked to Iran's Revolutionary Guard. He later served on the unsuccessful 2013 presidential campaign of a prominent hardliner, former nuclear negotiator Saeed Jalil. If we're going to run on speculation, I think he was turned back and sent back to Iran because of what I put in the red. He has ties to militia. He also held, back to presidential campaigner that was pro-nuclear in his particular platform. I may have to look into that, and I may be corrected later. But to me, just the ties of the militia probably disqualified him from further coming into the States and helping with cancer research. I'll let you guys figure that out on your own. Next one. All right, here we go. And we need U.S. News. All right. This one may contain some rather graphic pictures, but it is a short story. It is if the pictures ever load. Hi! Human remains found in Pennsylvania in search for 4 missing men. Hey, Jennifer. New Hope, Pennsylvania, out of the AP. Investigators found the body of one of 4 missing young men along with other human remains buried on a Pennsylvania farm and vowed to bring each and every one of these lost boys home to their families. Cadaver dogs led them to the spot on the 90-acre, 36-hectare farm on Soulberry Township, where they discovered the human remains inside a 12.5-foot-deep common grave. I don't understand the science behind it, but those dogs could smell these poor boys 12.5 feet below the ground, Bucks County District Attorney Matthew Weintraub said at a midnight news conference. The body identified was that of a 19-year-old Dean Finiciaro. Weintraub did not say how he died. The other remains have not been identified. The missing men were 22-year-old Mark Sturgis, 21-year-old Tom Mayo, and 19-year-old Jimmy Tarpatrick. Patrick, who attended Catholic high school for boys, with the man authorities consider a suspect, was last seen Wednesday, while the other three vanished on Friday. This is a homicide, make no mistake about it. We just don't know how many homicides, Weintraub said. Authorities said they were looking at pursuing homicide charges against a 20-year-old man who was taken into custody earlier Wednesday and whose parents own the farm. The rest of the article, as well as the other ones, and I promise I'll get all those PDFs up today. I've just been absolutely swamped. All right, in quick news, I'm going to hold this out here. McDonald's is trying to stay relevant. Mickey D's trying to reclaim former top spot. In an effort to make a comeback from losing popularity, McDonald's is looking into changing the way they do business. They are looking into delivery service, digital ordering kiosks, and even an app that will save time in line. The app is designed to cut ordering time to 10 seconds. This means all they have to do is tell the employee their order from the app. This cuts time from the average 17 seconds when you would go through the drive-thru. In 17 seconds. It's always taking me way more than 17 seconds to go through a freaking drive-thru. I don't know what they're talking about. The digital ordering kiosk will let customers skip lines at the register. They've got to pay for the food, unless they can pay for the food at the kiosk. They're looking to find other means to make it more convenient than the drive-thru, which is now 70% of their business. They are partnering with Uber Eats for delivery with an agreement that will give Uber Eats an undisclosed percentage of the total bill, not including the $5 delivery fee. They rolled this out at the start of the year to 3,500 locations. Wow. No, I did not hear that. Ghost Dog, they're never going to get the fact that it's not a Muslim ban because they don't want to see it for what it is. They want to criticize it, even though Obama did it and other presidents did it before them, because this is Trump and they didn't want him in office. Also means you don't need as many employees. But I mean, still, okay, let's say they put in the app, let's say they put in the kiosk, okay, to speed up ordering and pickup. Let's say you can pay from this kiosk. The food still has to be cooked, okay? You do have to call to the cooks to cook the food as you start running out of the food. So if there are more orders coming in than food that is cooked, there's still going to be a slowdown, both through the drive-thru and in the store. Not to mention when they start delivery. I used to be a shift manager for Pizza Hut in a restaurant that did dine-in, carry-out, and delivery, along with a buffet. It was absolute freaking chaos. Yeah. But Panda, the only advantage to the app and the kiosk is if the order gets fucked up, it's not the cashier's fault. It's because the people using the app and the kiosk screwed up the order. So that takes some of the blame off the order takers, in my opinion. All right, now here is, all right, I'm gonna come over here, and there's an oddity, as they like to call it over here, that caught my attention. Let's see here. There's your McDonald's story. There you go, right over here. Oh, bull. Trooper answers bovine call, but animal escapes. Boiling Springs, South Carolina. A young bull remains on the loose despite a South Carolina Highway Patrol trooper's best efforts to corral him. Media outlets report the trooper responded Tuesday to a call of the animal roaming through a neighborhood in Boiling Springs, just north of Spartanburg, Photographs show the trooper staring down the bull, and obviously we don't have any photos available in this particular article. Dag nabbit. The bull ran into the yard of Cindy Knox and Philip Ledesma. He tells WSPA officers aren't trained to be cowboys, but that he gives the trooper credit for trying. And who shows up in the middle of a cow story? Hightail, good morning. Or good evening in your case. The trooper called for backup from other agencies, but the bull ran into the woods. Highway Patrol spokesman Joe Hovis says loose animal calls aren't uncommon, but that the trooper's attempt to wrangle the bull was a step above an ordinary response. So we have bull and tail featured shows up. Irony, scripted, well-timed comedy. Only time will tell. All right. Hi, Dark Art. All right. And now we go for our shout outs. So here we go. Out our favorite YouTubers. The first one on the list, he has a yard and he has property issues, but he gives and a little bit of his lessons along the way. It's internet's favorite, Papa Bloodewing. Y'all go check him out. Disappointed. He has some really good points. He's really easy to listen to, whether he agrees with me or not. And he is under sub. So y'all go check out Bloodewing. Y'all show him some love, but don't stay in his yard too long. He doesn't like it very much. Next on our list, she listens to both sides, she critiques both sides, and she's not afraid to do it on her YouTube channel. Rin Michaelis. She's very in-depth in her commentaries when she talks to people on Twitter and also on her YouTube channel. She's very articulate and she brings her point across very, very well. She does it in a very respectful manner. This is Rin Michaelis, another severely undersubbed YouTube content creator. You guys go over there and show her some love as well. Next one on the list. He's our lovable Dane on Twitter, and he absolutely makes a history lesson absolutely wonderful. It's Sage Kronsell. This is his channel, and y'all, he has under 200 subs. Can we give him some love? Can we watch some of his content over here? Can we go visit him and hit that subscribe button? Because I am about to confess something here. I am not a history nut. Unless it pertains to, let's say things having to do with Egypt. Don't really like listening to history documentaries, and I don't like watching the History Channel, but I love listening to Sage, and I love listening to when they talk about historical instances and what led up to them. So please go over to Sage's channel and give him some love. Last but not least, he has to deal with all the crap in Sweden. He's white, he's Sith, he's from the dark side, and he has cookies that he's not sharing. I'm talking about the white Sith male. Another severely undersubbed person with absolutely wonderful content. Go over there, watch a few of his videos, hit the subscribe button, and if you really like what you see, there's always that bell button for those notifications. And that does it out for the day. And now for our hashtag. Let me see here. Today's hashtag is tag from my pet's suggestion box. Let's see what we got here. Stop stealing my poop with that tiny shovel. No more costumes. I don't care if it's Taco Tuesday. Don't leave me alone with that cat. Okay, Janet, 15 cats is enough. How about Ed? Dude, this is how you take a selfie. Next one. For the love of Pete, I am a good boy, so please stop asking over and over and over. Would you mind cutting bigger holes in the boxes you leave out for me to play with? Buy a bigger comforter. Can you stop posting our gifts on Twitter without consent? Get rid of this dog. If you won't, I will. Hey, you know those clucking sounds you make at me? Stop it. I'm not a chicken. Not surprisingly, paw prints and chew marks. Your pets must be smarter than mine. I give up. Just tell me who's a good boy. How about you lick peanut butter off my balls for once? Ew, God, that was cringy. I need more coffee. It took a couple of extra seconds for that shit to sink in. Stop watching me pee and stop watching the dog whisperer. Thanks. I would like to pick out my own food when we go shopping. Can we at least go to a steakhouse instead of a brewery one time? Oh, poor fella. He's stuck outside. Yeah, I know, right? Would it kill you to drop some food every once in a while? Some nuts occasionally would be nice. Outstanding order at Domino's should include double anchovies. Ew. And that's the end of the hashtag for the day. Sorry about the cringy one. Every once in a while, they sneak one of those in there. Much to everybody's, lack of chagrin. All right, here we go. Starting up my camera, hoping it behaves. It does, sometimes it doesn't. And here we go. We made it to the end of another show. Yeah, oh my God, you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for commentary in the live chat. I hope you guys enjoyed this. You guys enjoyed my commentary while I absolutely love it. Are there any questions you comment about? I'll take that as my computer froze. I don't know. Always, my fellow friends, flow, may your caffeine be and that Thursday. Come on. After the live